I've never been as happy as right now, but shit, I gotta cope with the fact that it dies down. Cause in the end, I just wake up salty, start my day with a pot of black coffee.
Legends tell of a dungeon at the end of a trilogy, an optional gauntlet bestowing weapons and magic beyond one's wildest dreams.
Who are you? What are you doing in this Pokemon-ass misty terrain I record videos in?
It's Nyx. I'm just giving the video some added effect.
Why can't I see you?
It's because you haven't made a PNG for me yet, because you're broke, I'm broke. You know how it is.
Alright, well, thanks. I'm gonna do the review, then we can, make other videos and stuff after the Summer of Final Fantasy is over.
You know, you aren't probably gonna finish 3 more RPGs before September 20th, right?
Yeah. Time for the end of the NES trilogy of Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy III. I have heard about a few things related to this game, like the introduction of the job system, which seems like a really cool concept, the ability to on-the-fly change your warrior to a black mage or a black belt into a scholar. Aside from that, we're going into this pretty much blind, even more compared to the first 2 games. I'm not going to delay this intro much longer, so let's dive into Final Fantasy III and officially make it halfway through the summer of Final Fantasy, even though it's the end of August. Alright, time to name our characters again. I'm not going to bother seeing if they're canon names since these ones are supposed to be pretty customizable. We got Joe. Hello. Jim. Hello. Jen.
Hey.
And Gary. Hi. We begin the game with a prophecy of a calamity following a great earthquake, sending the 4 crystals of light underground and monsters emerging from the land, but 4 warriors chosen by the light would restore balance to the world. This is where we come in. 4 orphans from the village of going to prove ourselves by exploring a cave opened up by the great earthquake, but we fall down into the depths via a sinkhole. Then we meet this talking flower and whoops, this is the wrong video script, hold on. We get up and start our first combat encounter. You know the combat drill by now, but you may notice that all 4 characters are wearing different colors of the same outfit. This job is known as the Onion Knight. It's the weakest job in the whole game. As we progress through the game, we will learn more about these. We swiftly handle these goblins and learn about interactable objects. These will be fairly common and even needed to progress at certain points throughout the dungeons in the game. We equip the loot that we find and fight more enemies and find a spring to fully heal our party, which is nice since healing items are pretty rare at this moment. And pretty quickly we make it to the first boss guarding the Wind Crystal, and you could probably guess how a 4v1 goes down in the tutorial dungeon. Then the crystal speaks to us. Heroes, you have been chosen to protect the light of this world from fading. Please, take the power of light within me and these new jobs, because yeah. Hey, what is that supposed to mean? Shut up, Gary. From that, we are given our first set of jobs, Warrior Monk and the White, Black, and Red Mages. We change up our party and teleport out of the cave to head back to Ur. We speak to our adoptive mentor Tapapa, grab some gear, and head on our quest to save the world. We then learn of this new mechanic introduced in this game, back attacks. Enemies get the first turn, but it does feel like it's easier to run from these encounters, but that may just be a placebo effect since I didn't really run from that many. Also the miss rate seems weird, but that's probably also just a skill issue. We walk down just a little bit and find a nearby town full of ghosts, and oh my gosh, Cid's back! First the boulder blocks my way home, now I'm cursed by a damn Djinn, just my luck. How am I supposed to fly an airship like this? He tells us where the airship is and we can take it for a spin. Visiting Castle Sassoon, we find it also under the same curse, the king telling us his daughter Sarah, no not that Sarah, went to seal it in a mithril ring but hasn't returned from the sealed caverns. Guys, I know we need to do this quest and stuff, but maybe we should grind a little bit first?
Shut up, Gary.
So we take as much loot as we can find, even getting a sword that kills the undead, and teach our white mage to cast Cure, since it's effective damage in the upcoming dungeon, and the only non-consumable form of healing we have. We do take it a bit slow since we seem to still be a bit under-leveled, but we eventually get through and find the princess before encountering our next boss. The Djinn is super easy, but did have strong magic and somewhat high physical strength for this early in the game. But since it can only hit a single party member at a time, it was kind of a breeze, despite Djinn going down near the end. We seal it away in the ring and break the curse. We head back to join up with Cid after getting some more spells for the Black Mage and try to figure out a way to get Cid home. We talk to the nearby blacksmith and essentially turn the airship into a battery ram to smash it and the boulder to bits. My precious airship. I'll rebuild you soon, my dear. We make it to Canaan and Sid is reunited with his wife, but she isn't doing so well and needs an elixir to be healed. Thankfully, we found one hidden in the town, so we give it to her. We also meet this girl, Selena, who's waiting for Desh to return. I'm sure this will come up at later points since Dragon's Peak sounds like it's like a late game area. Sid tells us that we should speak to King Argus on advice on where to go. I do kind of want to check out this mountain first. Oh, that's just Bahamut. Oh. I'm sure this will go well. Oh, this is Dragon's Peak? I guess we should look for that Desh guy. Okay, so this might not be going so great. Oh, there's a guy up here, and yeah, no, we're bailing. Desh joins up and gives us many to teach to the White Mage after we bail from Bahamut's nest. We go a bit to the south and find the gnome village of Tozus. We help the sick gnome who shows us a secret tunnel to get to Meralka Basin, but it's full of enemies while we're still tiny, so we have to rely mostly on magic since our physical attacks don't do much. While I am talking about magic, unlike Final Fantasy II, we have gone back to leveled tiers of magic with individual spell slots that have an amount of uses. I didn't hate this in the original Final Fantasy, but I do think it's a bit more annoying since the only item that can restore MP is the elixir, and those are pretty freaking rare. I know I can just go to a spring or sleep in an inn, but in the longer dungeons, if I have bad luck, it totally sucks. I at least think this game is a bit more forgiving with those spots though, so that's at least something. We make it through and reach a cove where we can sleep and regain mana to make the party normal size again. We speak to the pirate captain who is trapped here due to the Nepto dragon blocking its way, and this thing is not dying, so we're gonna have to find another way around. I walk over to this nearby temple and silently scream as I have to mini the whole party again just to go through the eye and reach the Nepto temple. I probably should have gotten more damaging magic, but I believe Jim the Black Mage is a total Giga Chad who can push us through. We then find this big ass rat, or it's probably just a normal sized rat considering that we're small. We defeat it and heal up before returning the eye, and the dragon gives us the Fang of Water before going back to sleep. Did the dragon just pull out its own fang? Shut up, Gary. We talk to the pirates and are given a ship to sail to the next village we see where the people are a little bit jumpy. We found out that these people have been attacked by soldiers following the king. That doesn't sound right since we were told to go see him. Plus there's this weird plant thing in the desert. Strange. We walk a bit further and find a grove of chocobos. Chicken jockey? We take a chocobo up to another spot in the trees and find some fairies and learn the plant in the desert is actually the elder tree and is being controlled by a mage, the royal advisor of King Argus, Hein. Heading back, we do find this village of people calling themselves ancients. They actually give us a lot of lore, like the Flood of Light, where 4 Warriors of Dark had to bring balance, so the opposite of the current situation, I guess. After exploring more, I decide to check out the castle, but it's strangely empty, but hey, more loot for me. We keep walking and eyeball this weird thing in the lake and check out Gulgan Gulch, a cave of blind prophetic mystics who tell us to head to the Tower of Owen and give us access to the Toad spell to do so. Once inside, we realize how scary the Toad status is since you lose access to magic in combat, but once inside, you can just transform back. Also guys, I just remembered, I am an ancient. My memories are coming back to me now. Yep, I'm definitely an ancient. Well, thank you for sharing that, Desh. We make our way up and find some fire-related gear as we face the next boss, Medusa, and she does not play around. If you get unlucky, your party is toast by the stone status. We beat her up for a bit, but it's too late and the tower is about to explode, sending the continent back to the ground. Wait, how is it affected by the earthquake if it's floating continent? What? But Desh sacrifices himself to stabilize the reactor. We escape, but we won't let his sacrifice be in vain as we push forward to the Dwarven Island in search of the Fire Crystal. Once we get to the Dwarf Island, we're tasked with getting back the Horn of Ice, which was stolen by this Gutsco guy. So we have to go and beat his ass to get it back, and this dude is a piece of work since he can mini the party. But at least he doesn't restrict my magic users as much as it would for my warrior. He goes down and we take the horn back. We're Gutsco guys, of course I tricked you to take both horns. Well, I guess it's time to chase him down to the next dungeon, but I want to see what happens if I use these greens that I got from this town, and damn, he thick! Fat Chocobo serves as a sort of bank for us to store gear between locations. I don't really understand the purpose since it doesn't seem like there's an inventory cap, but maybe it's good for not accidentally selling your gear, or maybe there was a cap in the NES version. We head into the Molten Cave after Gutso, and it's kind of starting to feel like I'm a bit underleveled, but I'm not sure why since I haven't really ran from any encounters this early in the game. Like, I make it down to Gutsko, who now has the power of the Fire Crystal, and he is beating my ass. I did some off-camera grinding for a few levels and managed to beat him, but it seems like this may be a problem going forward in the playthrough. We receive some new jobs and upgrade the party. Hey guys, I'm a scholar now. Shut up, Gary. We head back to Tokul, but we're captured by King Argus's forces, who throw us in a cell with the king and find out Hein has usurped him. We shrink down to break out of the cell in the tree and confront Hein, and he's a total joke. He can change his affinities, but the party does enough damage without playing the guessing game of what element he's weak to. Plus, if you just have a scholar and a mage with every type of magic, or just a mage that has Libra, you can find his weakness. The tree thanks us before returning to the forest, and we get the Wheel of Time from the king, who tells us to take it to Sid. She can only land in the water, but she's a mighty fine airship. Now with an airship we can fly almost anywhere. It still can't get over these mountains though. We fly off and we can finally explore the rest of the world, and I'd say this is a 7.8 in the world design department. A little too much water. Joking aside, the world is actually flooded after the earthquake, and while we're on the ship, I really appreciate the ambient music this entry's been delivering for the overworld. We heal up this girl, who turns out to be a priestess for the Temple of Water, not to be confused with the Water Temple, and Aria here insists on going with us to break the curse that caused the flood with a shard of water crystal that she had stored there. We reluctantly agree and make our way back down to the temple. We take the shard and go through the nearby cave to enter the Cave of Tides. We see some new enemies that just love to beat the hell out of Gary, but we push through and find our way to the water crystal before being ambushed, and Aria goes down protecting us. Master Zandi was right for tasking me to guard this crystal. Time to finish the job, for I am the unstoppable Kraken. This fight was laughably easy, minus a good hit to Djinn the White Mage, and he went down in 3 turns. Final Fantasy I Kraken felt a bit more intimidating than this, and also looked the part. We get some more jobs as Aria fades, fulfilling her purpose, and the flood disappears, allowing us to explore more of the world. But we get knocked out by an earthquake and wake up in a local end. Finding our ship is now locked up, and we have to break the curse from Goldor in his manor. But in order to get there, we need the Levigrass shoes to pass the bog. But before that, we gotta get Gary a new job, so we have another physical attacker. On our way, we run into these silly fellows who think they're the real chosen ones, so they go into the sewers too, but are quickly attacked by weak enemies. We save them and become total bros who vouch for us to get the shoes later on. We go through the manor and take all the loot that we can, so we have some spare cash, and then face Goldor. He puts up a bit of a fight, but is weaker to physical hits and goes down, but not before destroying the earth crystal that he was guarding. We kinda just lie around for a bit looking for somewhere new before being shot down over the kingdom of Saronia. We find out that the king has pitted his army to split and fight each other, and also exiled the prince from the kingdom. Some citizens mention the minister having a weird shadow. Something tells me that has something to do with this, and probably who our next boss is. We check out the tavern and find the prince getting harassed by some ruffians.
Thank you, heroes. I am indebted to you. If I may, please help me speak to my father.
We go with the prince and we're actually let in.
How can this not be a trap?
And, yep, called it. The prince is nearly murdered before the king snaps out of it, and Gigamez reveals himself as Garuda, and yep, time to rip the band-aid off. This game has really bad progression. This fight sucks since it tries to encourage you to try the Dragoon class, but unless you're willing to grind, it's the only viable class to use in this fight, aside from maybe having one healer. Even then, he goes down on turn 1 if you just jump with all of your party members. If anyone ever wanted to make a mod for these older games, a big ask from me would be to fix the progression of this entry, because I otherwise really love this game's story and characters. The king passes away and Alis takes the throne, with Saronia's scholars fixing up an old airship that we can use, allowing us to finally leave the kingdom and explore a bit more. But when I was looking around, I noticed this guy in a room kinda just aura farming. I'm sure I'll find my way to him later. Fly to a nearby town and hear some songs that may be hints to optional fights. Maybe it's related to that legend that Weirdo was talking about earlier. We explore more but are ambushed by Moogles finally making their series debut. But Doga, one of the 3 apprentices of the great mage Noah and former acquaintance of Xandi, the game's big bad, recognizes us as chosen by the light. So we tell him of Goldor and learn that that was just a rock that produces gold. Oh Goldor, you lovable and very dead scamp, you. We go to visit Unei, another apprentice, but she is asleep, so we have to reach her in the Dreamscape. We then go through a literal mini-dungeon and get the ability to dive the ship underwater, which gives us access to the Temple of Time. No, not that Temple of Time. I do take a little bit of a detour since we have access to underwater now and find this passage under Saronia to make our way to the lower levels of the castle, revealing this mysterious figure to be Odin. Oh, just like the songs. He obliterates us multiple times and I decide we're just not strong enough to handle him and his party-wide attacks just yet. So we leave and make it to the temple, finally making some use of those keys that I bought and fighting bigger foes like dragons. Eventually I reach the bottom of the dungeon and obtain the loot, able to now reach Unei in the dream world. Unei then tells us to head to some ruins up north and find a colossal airship, She also gives us our third fang, revealing that we need them to break the gates that Xandi put to stop us from reaching him. These ruins are full of many annoying creatures like these eaters that divide themselves when hit by physical attacks, so magic's definitely the way to go in this dungeon. Alternatively, I've been told the Dark Knight is able to do it, but I didn't want a class change. We even find a little shop down here near these scholars that'll sell us some new gear, and we're definitely gonna need these like the Blood Lance for Gary. We make it through and get a new, bigger airship, now able to cross mountains and even has shops for all of the goods we can need and a bed so we never have to pay to heal again. It even provides coverage if we get into air combat. We make it to the next cave and are faced with more of these multiplying enemies, but they're no match for pure determination and lots of party-hitting magic. We find the last fang, but we're suddenly attacked by Hecatonka Share, and this Giga Chad is not playing around with party-hitting moves. Don't worry guys, I got this. Shut up, Gary. How did he know my name? He goes down and we take the fangs of the statues to open the way to the Ancient's Maze and find the last crystal, but it's guarded by an even bigger Giga Chad, so we have to grind. We grind so hard that I actually go back and finally defeat Odin, getting his summon, an ability that I can't use just yet, but we'll come back to that. After a few more tries, we become Giga Chads ourselves and restore the Earth Crystal and get the last jobs, including the Summoner for Gary, making him actually useful for once. We can now utilize Odin as a powerful summon and has the chance to insta-kill enemies, making grinding a whole lot easier. This whole endgame is mostly just grinding, but we'll get to that when we get to that. We also upgrade Jim and Djinn into the Magus and Devout classes respectively to make their magic a bit more potent. I think design-wise I actually like the Magus a bit more than the Devout. I still like both of them, but this is one of the few times that I like a Black Mage design more than I like the type of a White Mage design. I may be a little bit biased since I'm making a White Mage for Final Fantasy XIV, and no, I probably won't do a video for that, but maybe, who knows. We head back to Doga's Manor and are transported to a dungeon where we are forced to fight Doga and Unei to create keys to the Circus Tower and Eureka underneath the Circus Tower, but they both live on in spirit though their mortal bodies have given up. We navigate back, go through the maze, and reach the tower, using the Eureka key to open an optional dungeon underneath this one. This place is stacked with loot, but also harder enemies that can mess you up a bit. But it's worth it for the powerful gear you can find, even some shurikens, but I don't really know what these are for since I don't have a class that can use them. We do find these cool looking weapons, but have to prove ourselves worthy to wield them. So here's a cool montage that sounds like a Doom 2016 gameplay compilation. Oh sweet, new classes and a ninja, so I guess we can use those shurikens. But I kinda like the knight right now, so maybe later. There is a little shop down here and we can get the highest level of magic in the game, but this guy right here will only sell to us once we've beaten the 3 optional bosses in the overworld. So I guess it's time for another montage. Well, that was a bit easy. Maybe I overgrinded since I already have the Sage and some of the best weapons in the game. That fight with Bahamut was my first try and it was silly easy. Heading back, we start our climb of the Circus Tower, and honestly it's not even a challenge anymore since we have Meteor and Mega Flare to just wipe the floor with enemies. So I'm just gonna cut to the part where we confront Xandi. Fools, you have fallen for the oldest trick in the book. The old mirror that stuns you near my worms trick. Wait, is that the power of friendship? That's the only counter. Oh hey, Desh is alive. Shut up Gary, go beat this guy's ass. So this is it, our final fight. Xandi, and he is no joke. His magic is stupid strong and he has access to Meteor so he can hit the entire party. But with some perseverance, we prevail, and the day is safe from Xandi and his plan to cloak the world in dark. We will return the world to nothingness. We are the cloud of darkness. Scripted lost beam attack! We don't die that easily though, and head straight for the world of darkness, and this is my biggest fear. An area full of strong enemies and clones of Xandi, but no healing and a limited item supply. Am I really gonna have to reload my save or ration out when to use my items? Thankfully, no! After each Guardian of a Dark Crystal is defeated, a Warrior of Dark leaves it. Yes, I told you we'd come back to this. But then we can also use the crystal as a healing point as much as we want. I think this is a change in the Pixel remasters, but I've never played the original to compare it to. We beat the 4 Guardians and confront the Cloud again, and yep, it smokes our ass. Time to grind a little bit. I guess it is time for me to confess. I cheated. I used the 4 times experience boost to save an hour because I didn't want to delay this video much longer, but it was only for this one time.
Yes, I cheated, and I'm okay with that.
I also decided, since it's the last fight, screw it, let's try out the ninja class. And how much damage was that? Yeah, this class is broken and we're able to handle the Cloud pretty easily on our second try. After restoring balance, we take everyone home in the airship and live happily ever after. Even Gary, who became the best summoner we could ever ask for. Thank you, Gary. So that was Final Fantasy III. This is going to be my most critical that I've been thus far. While I think a lot of parts of this game are great, like the music, even if some of the battle tracks are getting reused, they're still iconic. And the graphics and style being great, this game's difficulty is a weird roller coaster. I ran from a few select encounters and yet still feel like the game expected me to walk around and grind for a few more hours just to pad it out a bit. I think this game is a fine length for a game originally on the NES, but this just felt like it wanted me to slaughter everything and then some. As for the job system, I love this idea. It's so cool that there are so many ways that I can play the game that's different from everyone else, and would recommend it just for that alone, especially for people who love challenge runs. But fights like Garuda really do feel like they're there to pipeline fights of, you need to play this way or you're not allowed to progress unless you grind a lot. If anyone ever makes a mod for the Pixel remaster to fix these issues, or even a patch for one of the older versions, I'd love to try it and see how I'd feel if it was the way I wanted it. Who knows, maybe I'd start to appreciate the original a little bit more if it's not the case when playing a hack. Despite my nitpicks, I would still wholeheartedly recommend this game to anyone wanting to get into the series. I wouldn't recommend it as a first since the difficulty curve could be a bit of a turnoff, but still great for the roughly 15 hours I spent playing it. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to check out my other videos as well as liking, commenting, and subscribing, and share this video with a friend. I'll make sure to put out more for you guys, and I can't wait to get to Final Fantasy IV.